All right, everyone, so this is lead generation 36123, and our particular topic today is open houses. So 36123 stands for 36 transactions closed within a 12-month period by doing 3 specific hours of activities of lead generation, and that's where the 36123 comes from. A couple things you need to know about this course. It's a Keller Williams University approved course, and what that means is that for Keller Williams agents, you can log in to your KW Connect account and download this course as many times as you want. The other thing that I'll show you real quick is that it's going to reference certain documents within our curriculum today. And so let me just show you right from KW Connect. When you log in, you just type in 36123, hit enter. You'll find the course, click on the course, and then under the materials tab, student files, supplemental files, you're going to find a zip folder that will download onto your computer, and there's a ton, and I mean a ton of downloads here. And so depending on which class you're in, like right now we're going to talk about open house. There's an open house checklist, open house safety. This will literally walk you through seller's open house checklist, like a ton of information for you to be able to then reference later. Let's open one up and just see what's here. So open house action plan, access your success. And so it talks about your goals, your actual, and the numbers, and so tracking everything. And then there's a lead generation action planning worksheet that's in your packet as well. Time block for open house activities. So literally a before, during, and after an open house, how to prepare. So just know that when it's referencing some of these extras, that's where you're gonna find the free downloads under the course materials. Sound good? Mm-hmm. All right, so let's go around the room real fast and let's say your name, how long you've been licensed, and why you came to class. What do you want to learn today? You want to start us off?
Sure. I'm Jennifer Kuzmer. I've been licensed since January, and I've done quite a few open houses, but just want to be more effective at getting information from clients that come through, and just a good follow-up system.
Awesome. So that was get info from clients and follow-up system. Great.
Greg Durrell, I've been licensed for 7 years, I think it is, and just want to generate more leads from the open houses. Don't want it to be a time suck.
No time suck. More leads. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Got it.
One more houses faster.
I'm Valerie Sumter, and total 17 years, but I took a few years off and went back to school. But I have another business, so I just like to help agents on the side and stuff. And when I was really active, we really did not do that many open houses, as much as it's pretty mainstream now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I'd like to catch any new strategies,
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
Great.
But,
Good.
yeah.
Strategies.
Hi, I'm Kim. I've been licensed 2.5 months, and I haven't done any open houses, so I need to learn how to do them, how to get started.
Okay, perfect. How to get started.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Harstead, and I am not yet licensed, but hope to be in the very near future. The point of me coming to this class is to just learn what open houses are and how I can help with them in the near future.
Awesome. Glad you're here.
Excuse me, Nancy Corder. I've been licensed since December, and I've come to class because all of the above.
Got it. Sounds good.
I'm Kelly Zimmerman. I work on the Dutters team, and I've been licensed a little over 2 super, super excited folks. So anyway, anything I can learn, I have another one this weekend.
Great, good, okay, will do.
I'm Tina Christensen, and I have not been licensed even a month yet. And it is kind of all of the above, but I'm doing several open houses this weekend, and I just want to see if there's something new that I can bring with me to it so that I do successful.
Yeah, definitely. Good.
My name's Allie Sherman. I'm not licensed yet, but I plan to be by August 31st. And I'm here because I want to learn how to master open houses before I've even done one.
I'm Bonnie DaCosta. I've been licensed for almost 4 years, and I'm here to learn how to spice it up and make my open houses more of an event for those who walk in.
Thanks for being here, Bonnie. Mike?
Hi, Mike. I've been licensed for almost 3 years, and I would have to agree with the first two, getting the info from the clients and the follow-up process.
Okay,
I am lacking.
okay, sounds good. Jody, we're talking about who we are, how long we've been licensed, and why you came to class. What do you want to learn?
Oh, I didn't know it was open houses.
Sweet.
Thought it was 36, 12,
It is.
Oh.
Yep, we're going to do that too.
Well, I don't do enough open houses, so I think it'd be good for me to learn more about the process, and I hate them, so maybe it'll help me out.
Perfect.
Licensed for 3 years.
The best way to not hate them is have somebody come in and have them buy the house.
Yeah.
And have the house to list too. I can tell you it's great.
Who you are, how long you've been licensed, and why you came to class today.
I'm Andrew Farmer. I've been licensed since the end of January. I came to class today after a week at camp. I literally got back 30 minutes ago, so I'm wiped and exhausted. But I've been loving the lead gen we've been learning about in these classes and applying it. And I think on the follow-up, maybe like identifying which clients make the most sense to purposefully go after would be really helpful for me.
So purposeful follow-up. Okay, got it. So we've got our curriculum. For those of you who came in a few minutes late, we are going to reference a few different things, and just know there's a zip folder download on KW Connect for all the extras that they're going to talk about through class. So let's jump in. All right. So in the last 24 hours, page 4 lists the lead generation activities that you've completed. So let's take a quick minute right now and let's fill that out. All right, and then from those activities, what were your ahas? Ahas are those things like, oh, I wasn't thinking that until just now, light bulb moment. So of your ahas regarding those activities, what was the most difficult part of the activities that you did? And what are you going to do different in the next 24 hours? So let's fill that out together. All right, so who wants to give me some examples of lead gen activities in the last 24 hours? What have you been up to, Bonnie?
I have been calling my sphere.
You've been calling your sphere, and what does that sound like?
Calling the people and just checking up on them, chatting with them. I don't like calling because I don't want to come off as that one person that only calls about real estate.
Uh-huh.
So my takeaway is to try not to even mention it.
Yep.
And just make sure that I'm just touching base in a very transparent and honest way.
Yeah, to be genuine in your calls is your takeaway.
Very
That's good. Awesome. Lead gen activities, what else have you guys done in the last 24 hours?
Also a Facebook ad.
Posted a Facebook ad. Thank you. That's awesome. And so then just monitoring engagement, looking to see,
With
Perfect. That's
why
great.
I'm just kind of speaking in person for referrals. No broke English.
Got it.
Spanish, so.
Okay, cool. Who else? Alyssa.
I'm just getting my nails done yesterday and striking conversation with somebody. I turned some conversation into a lead.
And how does that happen? You're getting your nails done, and how does real estate come up?
We just started talking and asked what she did for a living. She asked what I did for a living. She mentioned that she was renting a home. I asked if she had considered buying one, and she said, actually, yes, I'd like to start looking in December. And I said, well, I'm a real estate, I'm part of a real estate company. And she says, which one? And kind of just went from there and got her contact information and actually just got a response back.
So just living your life, getting your nails done, and real estate came up.
Yep.
Because you asked what she does for a living, and then it would be awkward if you asked and then she didn't ask you back.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Yep. That's good. Awesome. So why are you here? Put yourself in the path of ready buyers and sellers. And it talks on page 5 about Ron's story. It says, many agents are surprised to hear that open houses are a great source not only for buyer leads, but also seller leads. Sellers often visit open houses in their neighborhood to see what their own house might sell for. What I talk to people about is open house is your job interview. So show up like it. Because many times you've got sleeper secret shoppers, and they are called nosy neighbors. And a lot of times I've heard agents say, oh, I held an open house, everyone had an agent, and then just a couple of nosy neighbors. And I was like, future listing sellers? Is that what you mean by nosy neighbor, right? It's your job interview. So are you showing up with that mindset and the attitude, how you dress, how you talk, how you walk, that you're on a job interview and that sellers are watching you? And just those nosy neighbors could very well be your next listing appointment. So sellers also visit an open house to size up the real estate agent holding the open house. They may consider using the same agent. And he stresses that an open house marketing strategy is absolutely key. All my marketing drives to the open house, says Ron. He coordinates newspaper ads, internet search engines, flyers, direct mail, signage to drive people to his open houses. Every artery going into the open house neighborhood has his signs, his balloons, so that no neighbor can go in or out of the neighborhood without seeing his signs. Ron has successfully captured the mind share of 4,200 people in his geographic farm. When neighbors need a real estate agent, they call Ron. So there's strategy that we're going to talk about today about what kinds of open houses you hold open. Are you holding open houses kind of here, there, and everywhere and just because it was available? Or are you holding open houses in neighborhoods in which you want to dominate? And the best place to start is where you live. And even if you don't own the home you're living in right now, it's the best place to start, isn't it? Because you know proximity to shopping. You know how far it is from here to Costco or Fred Meyer or Walmart or whatever it is. You know the schools. You know traffic patterns. So the best place to hold an open house is in your own hood. It's the place that you know best. And so you hold open houses in your neighborhood, and we'll talk more about how to negotiate holding open houses if you don't have the listing. We're going to talk about that. Let's turn to page 6. The course, the 36-12-3, that 36 closed transactions, that's what it stands for, in 12 months with 3 hours of purposeful lead generation activities. So the foundation is the power of one. That was one class. The next one was validity and positioning. How are you able to articulate what your mission, vision, value, what your proposition or your perspective is to a potential client? Why should they work with you over another agent? And there's a simple answer for that. It's you're on the winning team. You're sitting in the #1 real estate office in all of Pierce County. We sell the most homes of the entire multiple listing right now. If you go up and down that I-5 corridor of the MLS, this office, our little old Puyallup, is selling the most homes for almost 3 years running now. So if ever a seller's like, well, why should I be working with you? Just use that. Say, well, I'm a part of the #1 office. We're the winning team. 2, we learned about prospecting. Prospecting is going out and finding your business. It's the opposite of lead receiving. Some agents just kind of sit there and they're like, I'm ready. The reality is you have to go and find your business. And that means face-to-face, belly-to-belly, going to get your nails done. It's doing life with that mindset that it's top of mind, that everything I'm doing, do I communicate that I'm a real estate agent? Am I wearing my name tag? Just throw your name tag on and go live your life, and you'd be surprised at how many people will come up and then, surprise you by knowing your name. And you're like, how do you know my name? Well, you're wearing a name tag. Oh, thank you very much. Then we talked about marketing and how important marketing is in business. However, marketing is not the first. We don't talk about marketing first and then prospecting. Why do we talk about prospecting before marketing? Because marketing costs a lot of money. A lot of money. And so in the beginning, when you're building your business and you're in that launch phase, marketing is great. However, it's spendy. And so your first step is prospecting that's marketing enhanced. 4, we talked about how to leverage your database, and we call that our data bank, right? It's your list of clients that when you retire out of real estate someday, you have such a plethora of detail in this address book of clients that you could go to another agent and say, hey Greg, I'm on to my next thing. I'm ready to go travel the world, and I'm just curious if you'd want to partner and we'll do a merger acquisition. Here's my business. This is what I've done. Here are all the emails I've ever sent. Here are all the calls I've made. Here are the note cards that have been sent. Here are all the happy house anniversary gifts that I've delivered. And I can actually show you everything I've done over the past 16, 17 years in my business. Would you want to go into business together? New agents, have this conversation with other agents that are in the business a little longer than you. And don't judge just by their age is what I would say. There are many younger real estate agents that are building businesses very quickly to want to get on to other projects in their life. And so that's just a side note. That was free. 5, working with METs. And so we talk about people that we've met face to face. That would be anyone at an open house, anyone that we met door knocking, anyone that we met just living life. It's that if I walked through Costco and we ran into each other, I might not remember your full name, but I'll smile and nod because I know you and you look familiar to me. If someone walks by and I don't know them, they're a haven't met. So we have mets, haven't mets. And the whole goal is to get haven't mets to the point of being mets. And why, how do you do that? It's through marketing. It's through connecting, right? It's bringing value so that they would want to come to an event and meet you. 6 was farming. Who was with me for farming? That one was fun because you start to really think about hyper-focused real estate. Like, where do you want to drive through and see your for sale sign everywhere? That's hyper-focused farming. And we talked about the postcards and how you can run Facebook targeted ads, right, in that specific area or neighborhood. And here we are on open houses. Next class, next month, so we're doing this once a month for the rest of this year. So next month will be for sale by owners and expireds, agent referrals, then we move on to lead conversion, and then living your goals. So open houses work. Page 7. Are you at the open house to sell the house or to pick up buyers and sellers? The answer is both. Open houses do sell houses, and they are also easy. They're inexpensive and a productive way to meet potential buyers and sellers. And so the true agents in this business that last still hold open houses. Somehow I think there's been a little bit of a misunderstanding that that's just what new agents do. Now the reality is, if you're so busy that you just don't have the time to do it, that just means you have to build a team. Because it's a lost opportunity. If you've got a listing, did you say you have a listing in the works? You've got a listing in the works.
I have a listing that's under contract, but then we have buyers that.
Perfect. So a listing is your billboard. You have a sign out there, and it's an excuse now to door knock and call and market and talk to people, right? And so what we're going to talk about here is that agents who last in this business learn that open houses, anytime you're kind of needing to just get a little bit of a push or a reset of any kind, open houses are where it's at. If you're planning an open house for one of your listings, be upfront and honest with the seller and explain that showing the property to lots of people in a short amount of time is a win-win opportunity that allows you to promote the house for sale and also build your business. Open houses are great for properties if you're not having a lot of traffic and you're needing some feedback. That's a great time to pop up a sign and hold an open house. And in this market, houses are still selling very quickly. Back in the day, way back in the day, when houses were on the market for longer than a month or two, it was a fabulous way to get some people through the front door to give some feedback on things. Because sometimes sellers can be a little stubborn and they need a couple of different people to tell them the same thing over and over again to go, no, really, there really is a serious pet odor in this home. Or no, you really should, paint that bright orange wall or whatever it may be. So for many agents, holding an open house is their number one strategy to build strong business. If you follow a proven model, buyers and sellers will come to you. They will show up at your doorstep. Top producing agents claim that open houses are one of the simplest ways to grow your business because from just one listing, you will generate qualified leads who often convert to future business. Page 8, what buyers and sellers think about open houses. According to the National Association of Realtors, or NAR, profile of home buyers and sellers, 44% of home buyers used open houses to gather information. 5% of home buyers found their real estate at an open house. And 5% of sellers found their real estate agent at an open house. Notice that almost half of all the homes buyers visited open houses during their search or information gathering process. Yes, they may have searched the internet first, but they still wanted to and expected to see, feel, and experience the property that might become their next home. Let's look at these numbers another way. So in your book, does it show you the numbers that 100 buyers, 44 visit an open house, 5 buyers use the agent from the open house, and then there's 39 buyers leave the open house either unrepresented, represented by another agent. So that means that then for this example, for every 100 buyers, 44 will visit open houses, and then 5 of those 44 buyers will end up using the agent they meet at an open house. And so do open houses work? It's just a numbers game. And many times people, go do one and then, it didn't work. Or they do a few. And we talked about this. What's mastery? When you are mastering something, how many hours do you have to put in to actually say you're a master at something? 10,000 minimum. Hi. 10,000 minimum hours to be able to say that you've mastered something. So when you're frustrated in your job, it's okay. Just remind yourself, probably not at 10,000 yet. Keep going, keep doing it. So open houses work. So the ratio then is 5 out of 44. And so this translates into 1 out of 6 to 7 guests. So if you have 6 to 7 visitors attend your open house, you will likely pick up 1 buyer. So write that down. 6 to 7 equals 1 buyer. So let's take a moment, and as a group, I want you guys to tell me the best open house story experience that you have. Like huge, major, crazy win. Yeah, Greg?
Okay, so 2 weeks ago I was doing an open house up in Edgewood. Had a buyer come through and we talked about the open house, and I knew they were interested and I got all their information. And then they came back 2 hours later and asked about what their house would be worth. And we have that house under contingent contract for $422, and their house is on the market right now. Went on the market last Thursday for $425.
Sweet.
From open house.
From an open house. Do open houses work? Say yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Makes all the open houses I've done. Must be worthwhile.
Right? Who else has a really great open house story? Yes, Bonnie.
I was holding open in Edgewood, and it was quite a busy open house. And so doing my follow-up afterwards, sent my
wonderful.
Just out of like the 15 minutes that we had belly to belly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. You make an impression on people. And the fortune, they say, is in the follow-up. And so note cards go a very long way at open houses. They're a huge piece, and I think many agents get too busy and they forget to do this part. And I have my crazy open house story where, you know, I had a couple come through the open house, and on my guest book sign-in sheet, they just put first name, you know, only, and they didn't fill out the rest. But I didn't know that at first. So they came in and we're chatting, you know, and I let them walk through the house a little. And so I went over to the guest book just to make sure, like, did they sign in? I was like, oh no, I've only got a name and no phone number, no address. It's on. Like, it is on. So they're walking through the house. And so you just ask questions to kind of, I always feel like the easiest way to explain it in my mind is just, I'm a PI. Right? I'm a private investigator. I'm just looking for my little clues. And so just ask questions, not too obviously, so that they want to share. So you're building rapport with them. And so I get some information, and I said, oh, where do you live now? And they said, oh, we live on a cul-de-sac. And I said, oh, why are you thinking of moving? And they said, well, you know, they're putting in a Winco across the way, and we're not sure if we really want to live that close to shopping. And we love where we live, but with that, you know, there might come some more traffic in that, so I don't know. And so then they keep walking around. And I said, well, what brought you in today? And she said, well, I'm actually studying to be an appraiser. And part of my homework is that I have to, you know, visit some open houses. I said, oh, that's exciting. That's great. And so talked some more, and they left. So I never got address, phone number. I didn't get anything. It just never came up, and it felt a little weird. But I was like, I've got my secret tool. Right? What is my secret stalking real estate tool? Realist. It's our county records. And so I jumped on there, and you can click through the parcels, right? And so I went online and was like, where is there another Winco going in? And so found out there was going to be this Winco here. And so then I just went across the way, and I looked at the cul-de-sacs, and I just started clicking every single parcel around that cul-de-sac. And then wouldn't you know it, Al and Amy was Amanda and Albert. And I was like, got him! I got him! So I got my note card out, and then I wrote a note, and I said, thank you so much for visiting my open house. It was so great to meet you. Keep me posted on your studies to be an appraiser. Take care, Rebecca. And put my business card in. I was so excited to put it in the mail because I'm like, I got him. Wouldn't you know it, I got a phone call. How'd you get my address? Hi, it's Rebecca. How'd you get my address? My husband's a police officer, and I'm quite a private person. I'm a little concerned as to how you found us. And I was like, oh no, what do I say? And I said, well, I am a little tenacious. I do follow up because I want to help every single person that I meet. And I felt like we'd, built some rapport. And I wanted to be able to keep in touch. Hoping it works. She goes, okay, well, it's interesting that you sent this because I don't think I want to be an appraiser anymore. I'd like to be a real estate agent. Could we meet at Starbucks? And I said, sure, let's grab coffee. We did. She got her license. She joined Keller Williams. We were on a team together, worked together for years. That's Amy Havner. 16 years later, I can tell you note cards are worth sending. They're worth sending. And we had another agent who is so discouraged. He's like, I only had one couple through my open house, right? But I sent them my note card. I did my regular follow-up. 5 months later, 5 months, they called him. Hey, when we met you, we weren't ready. We are now. Can you be our agent? So don't skip that step. Write that down somewhere. Don't skip that follow-up piece of sending a handwritten note card. It's an important part. Yeah.
And adding to that, it was a for sale by owner, and it was an unusual property over by Lake Taps because they were looking for an acre property and acre land. And I called the for sale by owner and said, hey, I have someone that's looking for pretty much what your property has to offer. Would you mind showing it to me ahead of time before the buyer sees it? And so they took me, of course, proudly took me around and everything. And the layout didn't quite work for my buyer, but I wrote him a
Yeah.
Sure enough, she called me back and asked me if I would list their house, but then they were going through a divorce, unfortunately, and she wanted me to sell her a house and then sell her husband a house. So I got 3 listings, or 3 transactions out of that one
Yeah.
thank you note.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. I mean, I was with Brian Buffini at the time, and that was an absolute, you had to do
Yeah.
notes. At least 5. a
To
day.
win the day, you do your notes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's it. Awesome. So, open houses work, and there's absolutely fortune in the follow-up. And many times we just get busy and on to the next thing, and yet that is a very important piece not to forget. All right, so page 10. Myths and truths about open house. Myth: open houses are only for new agents looking for buyers. The truth is that experienced agents continue to leverage open houses to generate both buyer and seller leads. And so open houses often get a bad rap as being the turf or technique of the inexperienced. But the truth is that it is a non-aggressive way. Like Bonnie said, it's like throwing a party. You're throwing a party, and if you make it fun enough, which you are the life of that party, right? People will come if you do the right kind of marketing and send out the right kinds of invitations. And then the open house event, the time leading up to and after provides opportunity for you to build relationships, market your name to a geographic farm, and secure a neighborhood's mind share. Page 11, myth: I don't have any listings, so I can't hold an open house. And so someone just watch the time real quick and tell me how long it's gonna take me to find an open house to hold open. Can someone time me? Got it. All right, so I am in the multiple listing, and I'm gonna go to Matrix. I'm gonna do search single family general. I'm gonna select active. I'm gonna scroll down, and where it says office ID 9389385 is our MLS office ID. There's 148 opportunities for us to hold an open house right now. So now what we do is we go to the map, we look and see where we want to hold an open house. So here's a couple of opportunities. We could be a little picky. We could say, I want to hold an open house for 400 plus. Just drop that in the price. You could be even pickier. You could say, oh, I want to hold a vacant house open. Now you've got 20 matches, so you hit search, and then depending on where you live and what you want to do, you can find a listing. So you find a listing, find one that looks nice, that you think would make sense and you'd want to hold open, and then all you have to do is just reach out to the listing agent. So you click on her name, there's her email, double-click copy email address, compose an email message and say, hi Kendall, I'd like to hold your Edgewood listing open this weekend. Is it available? Thanks so much. Close this out. She emails you back, says yes. Select the listing by checking this box. Click print, flyer, print to PDF. All of Kendall's listing information is here with your logo, your name and number on the bottom of this. Print this and you're ready to hold an open house. How long did that take me? How much?
Minute 40.
Less than 2 minutes. Woohoo! And now I've got an open house to hold open. Now who's going to come to a house listed in Edgewood for $519? Anyone? Anyone thinking of buying up? Anyone thinking of downsizing? Anyone who wants a particular type of kitchen? A mother, brother, sister, right? An open house is a great opportunity. And so if you live in the area and you don't have a listing, you could go and ask Kendall for that opportunity. And so the reality is there are open house opportunities everywhere. Now, let's talk about the fact that there are many times when houses come on market in our own neighborhoods, right? And your heart sinks and you're like, oh, there's a house for sale in my neighborhood. Well, you don't have to be upset about it. One, did you let them know you were an agent? If you didn't, you have no reason to be upset because they probably just didn't know. So the first thing that you need to do when you get your real estate license, you prepare your launch letter, right? I've joined Keller Williams, here's my business card attached, and door knock your neighborhood. Door knock your street so your neighbors know. And face to face, just let them know and drop off your business card. 2, call that listing agent and introduce yourself. Hi, my name's Rebecca. I live 2 doors away from your newest listing. Congratulations, it's a beautiful one. I live nearby. So if ever you want an open house held or a buyer calls you on a sign call and you're not nearby, I live 2 houses down. I'm gonna email you and text you my contact information and check in. And if you ever need any kind of help, will you let me know? You'd be surprised. There have been a few times where very quick, short, no thanks, bye. And then I did follow up, and wouldn't you know it, that there ends up being a situation. Christy just had that. And she literally got the call, hey, I'm out of town, can you show it? Yep, showed it, wrote it up, and got a closing. So just because you're not the listing agent doesn't mean you can't hold it open, doesn't mean you should be reaching out to that listing agent, regardless of their company, to let them know you're a realtor, you live nearby, and that you'd like to help, coming from contribution. Myth, next one, bottom page of page 11. The myth is agents sit, quote unquote, sit open houses. The truth is great agents work open houses. Can someone read that for me down below?
Great agents, that part?
Yep.
Great agents work at generating leads every minute they are at the open house. They know that sitting in open house, simply sitting in the living room while guests walk through or waiting for a visitor to knock on the door is unproductive and boring. Sitting in an open house is a waste of time. The 2 to 4 hours you blocked off for an open house is a lead generating event, and whether you have visitors or not, use the time generating leads. Prepare yourself with internalized scripts, greet each guest, build rapport, qualify buyers and sellers, and ask each visitor for an appointment. Make your open house an active lead generating event. If there's an hour lull in visitors, feed your database on your laptop, make phone calls to potential leads, or write notes to people you have recently met.
So we are moving our businesses into command. And one of the things that happens before you add someone into command or before command existed was the pipeline tool. And the pipeline tool is how I can predict if you're going to survive as a real estate agent or not. It's just a simple list of people that you've talked to that are going to buy or sell in the next 12 months or less. If you don't have many people on that list, it could be a printed out piece of paper, or it can be online. You have nothing in the works, right? And so your job is in jeopardy because the activities that we do today, right now, are impacting our bank accounts 90 days from now. That's what the statistics tell us. What you're doing right now today will determine if there's any money coming in the next 90 days. And your bank account doesn't lie, right? So my question would be, when you hold an open house, what is the goal of that open house? So if I was to go and, work at a florist shop and I clocked in as a florist and my job was to make at least a minimum of 10 bouquets before I was allowed to clock out, how many bouquets am I going to make? 10. Because that's my job, right? As real estate agents, do we treat open houses like a job like that? You're taking time away from your family. You are going to be in this place. Do you treat it, do you think of it like I'm clocking in to my job for this activity right now? And if you don't, let's start. And now let's set some goals around it. Like, I'm gonna hold an open house, and my goal is that I'm gonna have probably, a good open house is gonna be anywhere from 8 to 10 people that come through. And my goal is that of those people that come through, I want 2 new people, name, address, email, phone number, added to my pipeline before I can clock out of my job and go home. 2. So then as I'm holding that open house, my brain, it's working for me. It knows I better ask some really good engaging questions. I should be thinking outside the box and really kind of watching how people are responding to me, to other people, to the house, because I've got to add 2 new people to my pipeline today. I can't clock out until I do. So then I hold the open house, and let's say only I got one. What was my job? 2. So at that point, what's the best thing that I could do to go and find someone to add to that pipeline? Right there in that door knocking is it, because you're already there, right? And you've got that house as your excuse to go to talk to people. So you close everything, right? Lights off, lock everything. You gather up all your signs, put them in the back of the car, and then you go.
Hello,
Hi, I'm Rebecca.
I'm Tina.
Tina, nice to meet you. I came over because this house right over here, you're twinning with it. It looks like, from the front at least, it looks like it's an identical house to yours. Have you ever been inside?
I have not.
You haven't. The sellers are gone right now. Do you want to go?
Sure.
Okay. So flip on all the lights, show her the house. Because when this house sells, it's going to be a direct indication of how much your house is worth. And depending on your life goals, and I don't know, how long do you want to live here?
5 years.
5 years. So we'll be watching and monitoring what this house sells for. And when it sells, would it be okay if I reached out to you?
Absolutely.
Perfect. And so what would be the best way for me to do that? Do you prefer an email or
Yeah,
an
email.
Okay, great. And then I've got her information. And then I'm going to pull up my command, and I'm going to go, okay, here's my contact. So go ahead and just give her the phone. You've got command pulled up on your phone to add a contact, and then just put it in her hand and have her fill it out. Going to the twin of the open house that you're holding open is kind of the easiest one to do. Now be a little more difficult with me, so you don't want, because now they will come right over and walk through the house with you. That's real life story. People will do that, so be ready. Yeah, they do it. They're like, how did I word it? How did I frame it? The sellers are away. People love to be nosy. So if you give them a reason, like they're not home right now, come with me. Okay. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. Now be more difficult with me, Tina, and say that you don't want to see the house. So, hi, I'm Rebecca.
Hi, I'm Tina.
Tina, nice to meet you. I just held this open house over here. It's a twin of yours. I'm just curious, have you ever been inside this one?
I have not.
You haven't. Do you want to go with me?
No, I'm kind of busy today.
Oh, okay. Well, when this house sells, would it be okay if I reached out to you? Because when it sells, it's going to be a direct indication of what kind of value you have in your home. Would that be worthwhile to know?
I'm not really looking to sell.
Not looking to sell. Okay, no problem. Now, one quick question. If you were to guess all these neighbors right here, who do you think's next to sell?
Oh, probably that house over there.
Oh, really? Why is that?
They're not happy with the neighborhood.
Oh, what's been going on?
They just want more room and acreage. For
Oh,
themselves.
okay. Okay, great. What's their name?
Dan and Tina.
Dan. Okay, great. Awesome. Well, thanks so much. It was good to meet you.
You too.
Have a good day.
You too.
Okay, you're always leaning in with a smile on your face and eye contact, and you're always the first one to extend a handshake. Do that. Otherwise, it's awkward. People don't know what to do with themselves because they're not sure, like, hi. And when you open the door, many times people don't want to, or they think you're selling something, right? So big smile on your face, extend a handshake, lean in, and then body language is everything. So help me. Who do you think, right? She's not interested. So who do you think is next to sell? And then she had someone. And let's pretend you don't know anyone.
I'm not sure.
Not
I
sure.
don't talk to my neighbors very much.
You don't talk to your neighbors very much. Okay. Well, thanks so much for answering the door. And can I give you my business card? You're right here, and you're parked right across you're sitting right across the street from this house. If ever there's any kind of weird activity or anything, you can feel free to call me with any questions or concerns.
Oh, that's fine.
Great. Have a good day.
You too.
Just let them be. But I've met her. Have we met? Yeah, she's a Met. So now, unless she dies or she screams at me and says, delete me, she's a Met. I know where she lives, so I'm going to look up her address in Realist. I'm going to send her a handwritten note card, and I'm going to set a reminder on my calendar that when this house sells, like I promised her, I'm going to let her know that it's sold, and it's sold for how much, right? And then what's the ticket there? Zillow can tell me that, or Redfin can tell me that. No, I understand it can. However, they don't report how many dollars were actually paid towards closing costs. And I can. And that's ultimately going to impact the amount of equity you have in your home. Because just because it's sold for $520 doesn't mean the seller actually net $520. They might have paid $15,000 in closing costs, which is going to impact what your home's value is. So you door knock, and now I've just made a new contact. Now, she wasn't someone I would put in my pipeline. Why? Not interested in selling anytime soon. So now, the next scenario is that she said Dan and Tina, so I'm going to go straight to that house. I'm not going next door. I'm going straight. I need to find my next listing appointment. That's what I'm after, right? I have to find my 2 on the pipeline. And so I might zigzag through that whole neighborhood until I find the 2 people, because I'm not allowed to clock out of my job until I added 2. So that then I can go home and I can actually look at my family, look at myself in the mirror, and know I did my job today. So open houses, be active, be ready, be feeding your database, have phone call, have people in mind that you could call while you're sitting there. All right, so on page 13, a couple of these things are a little dated, which is kind of funny to read through at times. So just know and be aware that the last time it was revised was 2015. So anyway, so open houses produce buyers, sellers, and referrals. Set a goal for your open house. Do your open house with purpose. You're holding the open house to generate leads. How many do you plan to generate? What's your goal? So then on the bottom of that page, it talks about create flyers that highlight several homes in the neighborhood, coordinate maps to hand out at each open house, recommend one another's homes if a buyer isn't interested in yours. And this is the whole concept of mapping out multiple open houses in a very small, specific area. And so you've seen that where they actually create a tour of homes, which is another great way to do it. All right, so page 14. Prepare, promote, build trust and qualify leads. After, follow up. And then 4, be the #1 market agent. So let's talk about how do you prepare for an open house. So you systematically prepare for an open house by doing the following. Set open house goals. Decide which houses to hold open. Stage the house. Normally, if it's not your listing, you're not going to be doing this. However, this would be a good time for you to go preview the house. Go smell the house. Go see if it's a house you actually want to hold open before you commit to doing it. Prepare to build relationships. Prepare the neighborhood and market. Prepare to be the neighborhood market expert. So, everyone grab your phones and open up your Kelly app. And when you're at an open house, make sure that you've got it updated, logged in, so that you're set to go. Now, when you're there and you're talking with someone at the open house and they're like, oh, we're thinking of selling our house and moving somewhere, you could say, oh, where do you live? And they could say, oh, we live in, and so then you can type in Ask Kelly and just type in SNAP and then your zip code. And when you do that, it literally is going to give you a Kelly snap of that neighborhood zip code. And this works anywhere in North America, any zip code, anywhere. When you see the market stats, it's actually going to show, okay, average list price is $536, average day on market is this, how many total this. And so this information, you can actually type share when you touch the little arrow square upper right corner, touch that. And then touch share. You can actually then text or email or Facebook the information to the person. And so then at that point, they're giving you that whatever contact information they want to give you. When you send that out, it's a personalized market snapshot to that potential client. and now you've captured their information so that you can do follow-up. So using Kelly in that way is one of the quickest and easiest ways to bring value. People will give you contact information if they feel like what you're offering to them is worth it. I mean, how many times do you check out at the cashier and they go, oh, let me get your email address and you'll get, a discount for whatever, or get put on a mailing list? Nobody wants that. If it's something of value, they're willing. Oh, it's $50 off? Okay, yes. REBECCA at, right? It's value. So bring it up right on your screen so that you can show them the value of the app itself and getting that snapshot of the market information. The other thing is having your Kelly app open and ready to go for adding contacts. And then also have your Kelly app open, because right in the very bottom, click connect, and all of the newest live stream videos all about technology or strategies around lead generation are right there on your phone. So if you're in that moment of quiet and no one's around, watch an inspirational video for a few minutes, get fired up, and then make some calls while you're sitting there at the open house. So having the Kelly app is one of the best ways to have it available so you can do all that we just talked about. Talked about setting goals. Page 16. Decide which houses to hold open. Is the house in a high traffic area? My opinion would be that you never want to hold an open house that's more than 2-3 turns max off a main arterial, because people will forget. They will literally turn a corner and then forget why they even turned the corner for an open house if they weren't purposely coming to that open house. So you do want traffic, because a lot of times people say, oh, we were just driving by. You need to make sure that you're picking a location that's quick, easy turns for someone not to turn a corner and then turn another, and then the kids and the fishy crackers, and then all of a sudden they're just like, oh, forget it, and then they go. It needs to be quick and easy. Choose a house that's near a well-traveled thoroughfare that will give you high exposure from your signage. Pick a house to hold open where it says right there, with a maximum of 3 major turns off a major highway. Does the house have special features? Has it been recently renovated? An unusual or beautiful house can bring more visitors. Is the house in a desirable neighborhood, or is it in your geographic farm? You will want to build your reputation as the expert in a targeted neighborhood. Preview other agents' listings. When you find one that meets your criteria, ask if you can use their listing for the open house, and you can book a number of open houses several weeks in advance, depending on the market. Sometimes you can't do that, right? However, I've done 2 open houses in one day, 11 to 1 at one, and then 2 to 4 at another. Let's talk about this. Any day of the week is a great day to hold an open house. It's just a matter of figuring out why. There are great open houses that happen between 8:45 and 10:45 in the morning on a weekday. Can you guess why? School traffic. And if you were standing outside holding free coffee and a donut, do you think that people that are driving by might stop after they've dropped off their kids? Who drives their kids to school? Those who are out of Boundary. So maybe they want to move into Boundary so they don't have to drive their kids to school anymore. Who else drives their kids to school? Grandparents, aunts, babysitters, people who are helping people drive their kids to school because they're out of Boundary and they can't jump on the bus to go to school. So when people say, oh, I can't do open houses on weekends, that's great. Find the right house and hold it open at the right time. If it's a property that has a beautiful view, do a twilight, like you could do a 4 to 6, the sun is setting, right? Any day of the week is a great house. And I did have someone challenge me on this, and eventually we just came to the conclusion that open houses work every single day of the week. And so when you're in the launch phase of your business, your job is to hold an open house every single day. It's your mobile office. Come to the market center, get excited, do your script practice, do your training, and then in the afternoon, go hold an open house for a couple of hours. And my opinion is don't do it longer than 2. I have ADD, so I don't have a lot of time. I'm just like, next.
so I just, oh, if you wanna come in here and sign up, and, you know, they went through, and I was like, should I have waited until it really started? I wouldn't wanna say no, them in their car, but it wasn't like, they came in as I was coming in, so it wasn't like a presentation.
Uh-huh.
More, than that. Is there anything that you recommend then?
It depends on the circumstance, right? So we were in a situation like that where we were tag teaming holding open house, and we actually were going to be doing video through the open house right before like it started. And so I couldn't have them in the house during that time. And they were super early. And so I politely just went over, and they were parked on the street, and I just said, hi. Like, I walked up to the car. I said, are you here for the open house? They said, yep. And they said, can we come in? I said, unfortunately, it's not available till right at start time. I really hope you can stick around. It will be worth it. And so then we went in, did our little video thing, and then opened up as early as we could, and then invited them in, and those were the people who ended up writing the offer on that house. Other times you're going to just have to wing it, right? You're just going to have to let it happen, because if you can't always control everything.
The only ones who didn't fill out my who you are form, and I usually put another name so they know that I want their address.
Uh-huh.
And I put another name on top, so I totally missed that. So I didn't want to chase them down or seem, like I was on the quick or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that's just going to happen. I would come up with any excuse I could to be like, sorry, I wasn't set up before you came through. Would I be okay would it be okay if I texted you all the details of this house? What's the best number to text you at? Or, because you could send a link with all the pictures, or, come up with some reason to get something from them so that you could do some follow-up.
I used to blame the sellers, the sellers, I promised the sellers I would get everybody's name that
Oh, I
comes
did
through.
say that.
I did that for their protection,
Mhm. Yep.
See who's coming to their house.
Andrew, you can say something?
When you're doing a video in an open house, is there ever anything you have to be concerned about privacy-wise of the home? Obviously, the pictures are out there anyway, but is that ever a concern?
I haven't thought about it. No. I mean, the sellers should have been advised to put whatever they wanted away. So I haven't thought about it.
Just go for it.
Yep. Okay, so stage the house, curb appeal. This is obviously, if it was your listing, this is what you would be talking about with the potential seller. And so then you've got your seller's open house checklist, and this checklist is one that, like I said, you can download and then edit off of KW Connect. Get there early, because sometimes I've gotten to places early and I've had to clean the house. That happens more often than not. I've had to open windows, get things aired out because they just made a bunch of food or something, getting the trash into the garage. Like, there have been times where it was like, oh, like I previewed it, did everything right, but then I got there the day of and it was like, oh no. And so hands and knees on the floor, cleaning up and just getting everything ready for a good open house. Page 18, prepare to build relationships. You have about 3 minutes with each guest coming through your open house. That means you must rapidly get into relationship with each visitor. Always greet them at the front door, shake hands, and ask their name. Say their name back to them and make a personal connection. With only a few minutes to build rapport, prepare with the who, what, when, where, why questions. These are problem-solving questions and useful when building a new relationship. You can then focus your conversation to their specific reasons for coming to the open house. So if you've been with me any length of time, you know that I'm a little OCD about certain things, right? My notebook has to be this size so it fits in my bag, like in the profile of the bag. It can't stick out because that would be weird. And the pen has to have a click. It can't have a cap because I lose caps all the time, so it's a clicker pen. It has to be fine tip. Anyone laughing at me or with me right now? The pen, I'm a pen snob. I'm proud of it. I ordered my own because these are fine tip pens. And they have this clip so that it goes just like that. So I'm never without my pen and I'm never without my notebook. Now, there have been times when I did everything right. I prepped the flyer. I had all my little guest book ready to go. And wouldn't you know, I left it on the desk at the office and got to the open house and was like, I'm a real estate agent. What am I going to do? So I just grabbed my little book, flipped it to a fresh page, moved my little pen, wrote my son's name down, his phone number, his address, and then I just went like this. And then the purpose of that open house, though, is to make friends. And I've got to make friends and be able to follow up with them. And so when you are at an open house, like that's what I did that day. Just carried this around with me, and then they knock at the door, and then you greet them, big smile on your face, and they always extend the handshake. Hi, I'm Rebecca.
Hi, how are you?
Thanks for coming to the open house.
Thanks for having me.
Come on in. The seller asked 2 things for security, that you're going to fill out the guest book, and then if you don't mind just taking off your shoes.
Okay, sure.
There you go. Thanks so much. Take a look around. Let me know if you have any questions.
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Rebecca.
I'm Nancy.
Hi, Nancy. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming to the open house. So the seller asked 2 things. One, that you remove your shoes, and for security purposes, that you fill out the guest book real quick. Thanks so much. So
welcome.
what I found that day was, the binder on the island in the kitchen that I used as my guest book before, that was too inconvenient. Like actually having it with me right here made it super easy. And having the pen in hand, with big smile, eye contact, you're gonna take the pen. Like you're gonna take the pen. It's gonna be awkward. I'm in your space now. Like you're going to take the pen. And so if they don't, then back away. Because then you're probably in a situation, and we're going to talk about security and safety here in a minute. But that's the script. Thanks so much for coming. Extend the handshake. The seller asked 2 things. 1, that you remove your shoes, and 2, that you sign the guest book. I don't know if it was planned, purposeful, or just like God ordained, but when you point to the shoes, they look down, and then you put the pen in their hand. It just works. It just works. Okay, so does that make sense? Yeah. The point of the open house is to make friends, and you have to be able to follow up with them. Now, that day when I didn't have flyers, I was like freaking out, thinking, what am I going to do? I had the app. So I was like, I'll just text you. I'll text you all the listing details. What's the best number for you? And that ended up being one of the best on-the-fly open houses ever, because I forgot my flyers at the office. So don't overthink this. I mean, I guess I do overthink my notebook and pen. But do you hear what I'm saying? It's you're gathering people's information. 5, prepare to be the neighborhood and market expert. Every neighborhood has a story. Learn to tell it. The neighborhood will be your client's community. They're not only buying the house, they're buying a lifestyle. Circle that, underline that. They are buying a lifestyle. Number 5. 3rd line down. They are buying a lifestyle. Down the street, their kids may be involved in Little League baseball in a few years. Around the corner, just 3 blocks away, the swimming pool where everyone goes after work in the summertime. You've got to create the experience for them beyond just the house. Because they may not like that house, but if they like everything else you just told them, they could then say, gosh, Greg, I love everything you're saying about this area. I really wanted my master bedroom on the main floor. Would you be able to set up a search and just tell me if there's anything else here that comes up with a master on main?
Yeah, sit down. I'll pull it up right now.
Yeah, that's it. So if you can tell a story good enough and you've captured them, they may ask you right then and there for a buyer consultation, and you'd happily give it, right? So know the neighborhood. You want to be the absolute neighborhood expert. Your expertise plus your ability to tell it will build your reputation as a real estate agent. Pull CMAs, preview other homes nearby. This one's awesome. I mean, if you know you're going to be holding an open house, you took the time to go preview it. As you're driving, you see there's another listing that's open. Go walk through it. Set an appointment, walk through that house. How valid am I going to sound when I say, oh, I totally understand that you wanted a bigger master. The house right down the street actually does have that. And I've got time right after this open house is done. Would you be able to meet me there at 4:30?
Yeah.
Great, sounds good. I'll meet you there. And I've just set up an appointment to go show. Do I sound like the neighborhood expert? Whereas if she's like, well, I found this house down the street that actually has that, and she's telling me more about real estate than I'm telling her, that's not what you want. You want to be the neighborhood expert.
And go on Zillow and see if there's any for sale by owners that
Totally.
we wouldn't necessarily know about. See, we have
Yep.
a property to show 'em.
Add it to your checklist, that when you prep for an open house, you're looking for sale by owners nearby. That's an awesome one. That's an awesome one. Thanks for saying that out loud. Because I don't know that exists on a checklist anywhere, but we'll add it eventually, right? Okay. So buyers want to know community neighborhood information, local destinations. They want to understand the home buying process, schools nearby, relocation, census numbers, employment information, first-time home buyer, mortgage information. Many times loan officers are right there or they're standing by. So literally you can say, I've got loan officer on the line, and they can talk to you real quick and ask just a few quick questions, and you can get pre-approved. Sellers want to know market statistics. They want to know about the home selling process information and refinance information. So be familiar with these things before your open house so that depending on who you're talking to, you know how to be able to have that conversation. Number 6, page 20, safety. So safety at an open house. One, you need to know the house well, and when you walk through the house, be familiar with the setup so that you know what your exit plan would be if you needed one quickly. When you're walking through a house, you always let them go through first. You don't ever go in and let them follow you. So you always say, oh, it's this way to the master, go on ahead. Always let them go in to the space so that you're always outside of the space, so that if ever you are feeling threatened, you could go. And a lot of times you're going to talk to different agents and they'll tell you different things. One of my things is I say don't hover for safety reasons. Don't follow them around the whole house room by room. Let them go. Go take a look around and let me know if you have any questions. If someone doesn't want to sign the guest book, back away. Because you said for security purposes, the seller, and if they don't, well, no, we don't want to do that. What would you do in that situation? It depends. Depends on the person. It depends how you're feeling. If you're having that sense like this could be questionable for my safety right now, then what I would probably do is if they insisted on wanting to come in, then I'd probably let them and I'd walk outside. And then I would call at that point and just say, I'm at an open house and my safety is in question. So it wouldn't be worth me getting combative, or you know what I mean. And we've had a couple. I held an open house where I was with someone else, and it was one of our listings. If it wouldn't have been one of our listings, I would have never held this house open because it was kind of down a farther street in a cul-de-sac, but pretty woodsy and just, away from things. And so I was purposeful before holding that open house that I talked with the neighbors that led to that house and just said and told them. And I'm like, I don't feel comfortable holding this open house. So I actually have someone coming to be with me. And if for whatever reason, would it be okay if I called you or reached out to you, or if I have my panic button on my phone or my car and it goes off, would you please come? So just when you're holding an open house, be wise. And so in that, I had a buddy, and then I kind of did the extra just because it just felt like it was the right thing to do. So upon entering a house for the first time, check all the rooms and determine several escape routes. Make sure all deadbolt locks are unlocked to facilitate a faster escape. So if there was a basement and it had no exit, I wouldn't go down at first, right? You would let them go down, and always keep yourself mindful of where you're at. Make sure that if you were to escape by the back door, you could escape from the backyard. Frequently, high fences surround yards that contain swimming pools or hot tubs. Check your cell phone strength and signal prior to the open house. Have emergency numbers programmed on speed dial. Now, when I was single mama and really no one really would have had to know where I was at, I always made sure that I had a buddy that did. So I always texted my best friend, this is where I'm going to be from this time to this time. And I would send her the address so that if ever there was a question of where I was at, someone would know where to find me or what my last known location was. And that,
The Apple phone, if you squeeze both sides top button 3
Yes.
times, I didn't believe it, so I tried it. It does work. It'll
Yep.
call you right back.
Yep.
If you don't say anything, then they know that you can't talk right then, and they'll send an officer.
yep, absolutely. Notify someone in your office, your answering service, who has an answering service, a friend or a relative that you will be calling in every hour on the hour. And if you don't call, they notify the police immediately. When showing the house, always walk behind the prospect. Direct them, don't lead them. Say, for example, the kitchen is on your left and gesture for them to go ahead of you. Any questions on safety?
Well, I'm wondering, like, you're obviously letting all these people that you don't know at this time into somebody else's house. What about them taking something?
It can happen. Yep, it's happened. I mean, and that's the thing, is that it is a risk that obviously a seller is willing to take to help get their house sold. And so that's why on our open house checklist, it's to put all valuables away and out of sight. And, you know, if we've had stuff happen where they come through, and, you know, if ever you were in a scenario where I would just, I take pictures of people all the time without them knowing. You know what I mean? So I would, if you have that hunch or any kind of uneasy feeling, I would take pictures. Just document what's happening. Or make notes on your little check-in sheet of who it was or whatever else.
So we're not, like, responsible if we let them go into the bedroom and we don't know, we don't see anything, but they open somebody's drawer, we're not responsible for that?
Well, you're responsible for that house while the key box is open, right? You've opened that key box and let people in. And so it's one of those things where it's going to be this delicate dance. You let people walk through, but you're aware of where they are. You don't hover too much, but you know what they're doing.
Keeping an eye on
Mhm. Yep. And depending on the layout of the house, sometimes it's like you have to have 2 people there. Like you just do. It's just a house that you've got to have with sometimes you need 3. Because I think the 2 of us on a house sometimes was like, oof, yep, we needed more than just the 2 of us. Because there was a detached mother-in-law suite, and so they wanted to see that too. And so then you end up with 2-story house, and then, you know, and so then you've got, sometimes it makes sense to have a group of people do one open house. Yep. Page 21. Prospecting around open houses. Proactively seeking leads. In Power Session 2, we talked about prospecting. Prospecting is all the activities you engage in to find leads. Prospecting is the lifeblood of the real estate business, and it involves proactively finding people through phone and face-to-face contact. It's the most immediate and cost-effective way to build your business. Prospecting includes calling for sale by owners, expired listings, past customers, as well as meeting people face-to-face through door-to-door canvassing and social media or social and community events. Nikki Ubaldini from Florida says, when I teach lead generation, she knows, I say prospecting is not just picking up the phone. It's getting involved in networking groups. It's in volunteer situations. It's making it a point to meet people every single day. How do you prospect with the neighbors before an open house? So has anyone done this? Anyone door knocked before an open house? Give me a good story.
So I just took half an hour before I needed to set everything up and went to a few houses in the neighborhood. One neighbor said, oh, someone's already done this. And I responded saying, oh, I apologize, which I thought through later and thought I should have responded to, well, man, we really want to help get this home sold and something like that. But then I met another person who works at JBLM, and I got a chance to say that I offer a hero reward, and was really excited and wanted to take some of my cards and flyers to share with some of the Filipinos over there. And so it was really cool. Found out later his daughter is also a real estate agent, but he was still excited to take my info because of the hero reward, so that was cool.
That's great. Bonnie, what were you going to share?
Usually I'll door knock like the Friday before, and I'll case out the neighborhood, go door knocking, and I'll actually tell them, you know, this is the house I'm gonna be at, my lender's planning on being there with me, but I just wanna let you know if you see extra traffic trafficking your neighborhood, that this is where I'd love to have you, you know, come and visit, and just kind of prepping them, and I don't know, I feel like I'm more comfortable at the day of the open house at that point, because then if I do have that nosy neighbor coming in, but I remember, I don't know, it just makes the conversation
Yeah.
just way more organic.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And the last one we did together, it was the two of us, and there was a lull. There was nobody there. And I got a door knock. I got to go do something. So I'm like, you stay here and I'll go door knock. And so I door knocked, no one home. And then I was about to door knock this house and she was pulling in. So I just waited and she got out with groceries. And so I just said, hi, we're holding an open house. Have you ever been inside that house? She goes, oh, I have, but it's been years. I said, oh, you should see it. They've done some amazing work. Okay. And she came over. Like, door knocking works if you do it. Like, you actually have to go and do it. And so door knocking around an open house is not difficult work for most people. You're offering each person who opens their door nothing less than a how can I help you get the neighbors you want? How can I help you get the neighbors you want? Hand the neighbor a flyer that gives them information about you and the open house. Door knocking plus delivering an item of value combines prospecting and marketing. Talking with people in the neighborhood at their doors is an excellent way to introduce yourself, tell them about your upcoming open house. The flyer that you leave them then builds your name recognition and gives them information about time and location of the open house. It's not recommended that you leave flyers around if the owner is not there. Most people go through the garage and don't pick up things left on the door. If you do not secure them, they blow off and you become known as the neighborhood litter bug. Call your Mets. Pull up your Mets in your database and call people who may be interested in the open house property. You're going to be holding an open house and it's just hey, I'm sitting in a floor plan that's like almost identical to yours. Just thought of you. How's it going? You should come see this house. You call through your database with Kelly app. You've got it right there. Here's a script. Hey, Mary. Hey, Bob. It's Rebecca from Keller Williams. We met at my open house a couple weeks ago on Maple Street, and I'm holding this other one open, and I wanted to invite you because it has a lot of similar things of the house that we met at. Large garage, big backyard, patio. So I wanted to see if you wanted to come and check it out. So you're using the open house as an excuse to follow up with people that you met at other open houses. Sample packet information is noted there of what you can put inside. Marketing, page 24. Passively attracting leads. Marketing is what drives leads to find you. It attracts customers to you through the use of words, color, and design on real estate signs, advertisements, mailers, business cards, magazines, etc. So let's just pause there and let's look at some of the tools we now have available to us to make, did I make finding an open house easy in less than 2 minutes? Sweet. Let's talk about Sketchhouse. So I'm logged into KDub Command, and then I'm going to click on Sketchhouse. Sketchhouse is going to give you the ability to design something to promote an open house, or we'll do this together. So you're going to hit the big teal button on the bottom right, and it's going to ask you what is it that you want to create. So when it glitches or if you have any issues like this, normally it's best just to reset. And I'm going to pretend that I'm going to do an open house ad on Facebook, okay? So you can have an email, landing page, social, or print. I'm going to do social and then click template. And then here you can select a listing for what it is you want to do. So you can select, Let's select a house. Oh, where did it take me? All right, never mind. Let's just pick an open house template. So there's the open house picture, and it says join us on month, date. So you just double click and then add in the information that you need to. Double click and add in the address. And then here you can then drop the picture over here on the left-hand side. And this is awesome. While we're here, actually, let me show you. There's a ton of stock images that you can use for free. So you don't have to go online and find a bunch of images. You can find images here and use them for free that Keller Williams has uploaded as designs that you can use. You can drop your pictures here as well, so that in your My Library, your logos and things will pop up depending on what it is you want to do. And so you can have transparent logos with no background, and then you can decide how big you want them to be and where you want them to go. So it's a really great tool, Sketchhouse, to be able to create a quick, easy open house. You just need to grab that primary picture, upload it here, and then design your open house. So I made a mess of things here, but I'll show you. It's not making.
Rebecca, I found earlier that if you hover over an image and click use as background rather than just the plus sign, it's going to be that button on that one right above where your mouse is.
Add
To the
image,
right.
replace image,
That one
use as
will send it
background.
to the back and fit it to
Cool.
the
Thank you. Delete. Stop. All right, so anyway, you can see that you can move things around depending on where you want them to go. And then once you've got it the way you want it, then you're gonna hit save in the upper left. And then here you can share, and because it's connected to my Facebook account, then I can go right here and it will directly post to LinkedIn, Tweet, or Facebook, or I can just grab the project link and then drop it into an email. So Sketchhouse is something that you can use to be able to then promote an open house that you're holding open, or any of your listings or anything like that. Any questions? You're going to want to take the time to upload a couple of your logos over here so that you've got that ready to drop into your design. And if you want something that's got the white, or you want something that's got the transparent, depending on what you're doing, and you can click on something, and if you don't like that particular text, then you can change it to whatever text you want. So it's pretty cool. Any questions on Sketchhouse? All right. So adopt the right mindset for marketing. Think of an open house as a big event. Treat it as a massive marketing campaign. Unleash all your lead generation activity. Get the word out and generate excitement with banners, signs, balloons, and giveaways. Consider the 2-mile radius of your listed property, and determine where potential buyers could live, buyers who want to stay in the neighborhood. A potential buyer may currently live in an apartment or condo, for example, and the logical next step for them is a townhome or a small single-family home. Develop a plan to target potential buyers in these apartments and condos. Agents often send these targeted buyers as just listed cards or a special invitation to the open house in their neighborhood. Now, If we wanted to do the print option and do an actual just listed, or, you know, we're going to hold an open house and actually do a print, you can go to the where's my lead accelerator. And this is where you can create an actual lead accelerated post to Facebook using money where you're going to actually upload. You can do social media paid, Google ad paid. You can do social media not paid, so free. You can do emails, or you can do direct mail. And it asks you, what's the goal? Do you want to advertise a listing? Do you want to attract listings? Do you just want brand awareness or an event awareness? And so then you can pick whatever it is that you're wanting to do, select a campaign, and name it. These are going to be 89 cents or $1.20 for first class. You would then select a picture, go through the steps. I won't do it now, but it will then prompt you through the steps where you can actually create a postcard and then target who it gets sent to. So how long they've lived in the home, the size of the home, it actually literally creates a very targeted, hyper-focused list of people. And then once you go through and hit go, then it gets sent in the mail within 24 hours through the program that they have connected through KW Command. So if you haven't done that yet, watch your calendars, because we're going to be doing our Tech Tuesday huddles, quick 30-minute sessions where you're going to come in every Tuesday in September and learn about what we're talking about here. Back to open houses. So signage, the power of signage. Competitor has dominant market share. So your listing, you have one sign in the neighborhood for your listing. The competitor has several listings and appears to be the dominant agent in the area. Look at what happens when you hold an open house. Flip the page. Even though there may be an agent that has a bunch of listings, what happens when you're holding that open house? Look at all those open house signs. All of those directionals are then branding yourself as the neighborhood expert. And so this actually says putting signs up a week before. We can't do that. Otherwise we'd get in trouble. So that's way back. The goal is for people to see your name all over and all over and all over. And Keller Williams actually does an event. It's called Paint the Town Red. We're going to be doing this, I think, in September. Back in the day, we used to do it a couple times a year, where all of us, literally everyone, holds an open house on one specific day. And so literally it's called Paint the Town Red, because wherever you go, you can't help but see a red Keller Williams open house sign. So stay tuned for that. Tips for signs. Now, we clearly give you signs here when you join our office, but one of the things I would say should be on your expense checklist early on is your own signs. You want to have your own branded signs, because it's your name that's going to be out there. And so placing as many signs out as you possibly can, attaching balloons. I don't like balloons on open house signs because they're such a pain afterwards, and then you need scissors in your car, and there's like all this other stuff that happens. Okay, here's what I'll tell you, is you'll talk to people, and I've seen some really great open houses. Like there was this, fajita bar, and there was this whole party that they did at this open house. Now that's fabulous. However, she was so busy with all the food that she missed the opportunity for all the lead generation that we've just talked about. And I remember asking her, I'm like, how much did that cost you? One, it wasn't cost effective. And two, if you're going to do that, you better have a team of people, because otherwise there's no point. You've just missed the opportunity to connect with everybody. Now, here's my opinion about feeding people and letting them have water to drink. I don't do it. And here's the reason why. It was a hot August afternoon, and I had cookies and water bottles. The water bottles were in the back of my car. I forgot. It was hot. They were warm, so I left them in the back of my car. Just brought the cookies in, had to bring the napkins, had the little plates that went with them. And then this was a vacant house with white carpet. Open house was over, and there I was, on the ground, all fours, picking up cookie crumbs because it was a vacant house and there was no vacuum. So I got in the car and I was like, hey Siri, remind me to buy a vacuum. And then I was driving and I was like, I'm not buying a vacuum. Because my trunk is full as it is, and it's not my job to clean up after people. And if they really want to be there to see the house, if I don't have cookies to give them, they're still going to want to come and see the house. And so my opinion, and I get kind of passionate about it obviously, is you don't have to feed people. You don't have to feed them. You don't have to give them anything. And no one ever asks. Yeah, one guy said, there was one guy that asked. He says, oh, no cookies? I said, oh, I'm sure there's other open houses you've been to already today that you found a few. Made him laugh. He was, ah, ha, ha. I said, all right, go check out the house and let me know if you have any questions. It's not that big of a deal. So don't overcomplicate it. If you overcomplicate it, you're not going to want to do open houses. So open houses, they are such a great opportunity. And, you know, jump online and go, and you don't even have to plan. Like, you just literally go, wow, I took this great class, and yeah, I'm going to go hold an open house tonight. Go pop up your sign somewhere on a vacant house and hold an open house. It's a great opportunity to be able to door knock, 5 this way, 5 that way, 5 across the way, meet some neighbors, and make some new friends. So simplify it is all I'm saying. Do not overcomplicate it. Any pushback on that or any questions about it? No. Okay. All right. So great ideas for promoting open houses. So we just talked about a few on Facebook, right? And then here, local newspapers, mail-outs, MLS. And so when you hold an open house for an agent and it's not your listing, make sure that the agent has gone into 2 different places. One, the MLS to add the open house time and date that you're holding it open. And 2, to the Keller Williams listing system, because then that's going to syndicate out to over 350 different websites that are going to promote your open house being open. So make sure that that is happening. And if they forget, sometimes they do, set a reminder on your calendar to check.
You lost me there.
You're holding an open house
So the
for
MLS
Kendall.
So the MLS doesn't syndicate out to everybody?
MLS can. KWLS will do even more. Yeah. So you want to do both. Always both. Yep. Internet marketing, obviously it's, you know, noted there to be able to get the word out. Facebook, we have the Facebook lead accelerating ads right now too, where there's targeted algorithms that they're using to be able to get that particular open house in front of certain people. And that's one of them, is you can target people by if they've searched for a particular neighborhood or town, or they've been visiting a certain area or town. You can get really specific on Facebook.
What do you think of making a Facebook event rather than just a Facebook post?
Yeah, you can do that as well. Yep. We've done it in the past. We haven't really found that it generated a whole lot, but it's totally worth doing again now that we've got a little bit more, tech on our side, and we could get more targeted, definitely. It's a great idea. So the open house checklist on page 33, the lead generation activities before the open house, and then the logistical activities before the open house. And so this is walking you through everything you need, and this is a document that you can download and prep from KW Connect. And then on page 34, lead generation activities. So during the open house, greet and build rapport with each guest, including children. This one's important. When kids come through, don't ignore them, because one of the best ways to a parent's heart is through their kids. And so if there's little ones, take interest in them, get down and ask them, like, how many houses have you gone through today? Ask them where they want to live. Start asking them some of the who, what, when, where questions. And you'll find that you get a lot of honest answers. Ask open-ended questions. So when Tina was role-playing with me and we were talking about door knocking, a lot of times it's, she said, oh, well, it's, these two people that I think are moving next. Oh, really? Why is that? Like, always answer a statement with a question, because then it means you're going to get more information. And so if you're frustrated and you don't feel like you're getting a lot of information from people, it just means you're not asking the right questions. And so asking the who, what, when, and where kinds of questions that are open-ended are going to help you get better answers, so then you can follow up better. Arrange for follow-up appointments. So let's say that we're at the open house and you're definitely feeling like you're building rapport with someone, but you're not sure like how to transition to that point of an appointment. Easiest, simplest script ever. Ready? Ready to write it down? We should meet. With a big smile on your face. We should meet. Because at that point, you're building rapport and it's kind of going back and forth. And you just, you know what, Bonnie? We should meet. We should, because what we normally do for all of our buyer clients is we set them up on the Buyer Instant Notification Program. Do you have one of those right now? The BIN, Buyer Instant Notification Program. And what we do is we sit down with you, we ask you a couple of questions very specific to what you're looking for. We then go onto the multiple listings, set up a personalized search for you, and the second that a house hits the market, you're going to get an email just as fast as I do as a real estate agent. Would that be helpful?
That would be helpful.
Great, so we should meet. What will happen is I'll have you come into the office and we'll sit down and we'll go over that information together, and then I'll also educate you on the market right now and very specific strategic things that you can do to get ready and prepared, so that when you walk through a house, it sounds like this probably isn't the house for you. But if this was the house for you, are you prepared to write an offer? Do you know what that even involves? Have you looked at a sample contract yet? Because that's something we give to all of our clients. So when would be the best time for us to meet? I've got Wednesday at 6 or Saturday at 11.
Wednesday at 6 looks perfect.
Wednesday at 6. Perfect. Great. Sounds good. Why can I say Wednesday at 6? Because I've got a time block calendar. I've already prepared, and I looked at it before I went to my open house, so that right then and there, I know in that moment when I'm available for an appointment. So that's a whole other class, right? That's the time blocking with the 411. But knowing your schedule is so important before you go to an open house, because you don't want to overcommit. And, the other part of it is the whole showing a house after the open house. Like, do you time block for that? Do you time block your calendar for success? Because success would be that someone walks in and goes, yeah, I don't like this house, but I like that one. Can you show it to me? Great. And then do you time block so that you would have the time to go show that house, write it up, and now you've got a new buyer client? It's just time blocking on your calendar. So any questions on that? We should meet. Keep it simple. Don't have to memorize a whole lot of just we should meet. Yeah.
Do you always go for the appointment, or do you sometimes just are content to get the information and know it's going to be in the follow-up?
Always, always, always trying for the appointment. Always. Always closing. Always testing.
You always ask for it.
If they're people I want to hang around with, yeah. If they're people that are like just based on their questions and whatever, and I'm like,
So when they give you more of like we don't think we're really quite ready yet, where do you go then instead of the appointment if what they're giving back is we're not quite ready for that part of the process?
not quite ready? And so what would have to happen so that you feel ready? So I'm asking a W question. What would have to happen for you to feel ready?
I need my credit to be better.
Your credit needs to be better. So always respond back, nod, and say back what they just told you because you're acknowledging your credit needs to be better. Okay. And so we've got quite a few clients that are on a 6-month, 9-month, 18-month plan. The first step is we're going to have you talk to our team's loan officer, and he just kind of assesses where you are right now, and then he can do kind of the plan for you and has specific things you can do between now and then to get your credit repaired. He's got a credit repair specialist actually that he could connect you with for free.
Wow,
Yeah.
awesome. I was just gonna ask you the cost because I don't have a whole lot of money right now, so that'd be fantastic. I'd love to do that.
Yeah,
How do I get
awesome.
started?
We should meet.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yep. And do they say that? Absolutely. It's just not the right time right now. So you're asking what needs to happen. And then the buyer consultation questions are really good. Like the first one is that on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 that you're just curious about house hunting, 10 you'd buy a house today, how would you rate yourself today?
3.
A 3. Okay. And I'll ask your husband, what does he say? Don't look at each other, just let him answer. Oh, he's a 10. You're a 3, he's a 10. Ha ha ha. That's the script. That's the script. Don't look at him, that's the script. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 that you're just curious, 10 that you'd buy a house today, what would you rate yourself? Always ask her first. Don't look at him. Then he answers. Normally she's normally the higher number than he is, but not always. And you get them laughing. Now, right off the bat, you've got them laughing. They're going to kind of let their guard down a little. And then you say, okay, great, Steph. So for your 3 to become a 10, what are those things? Tell me what's in between that 3 and the 10. What has to happen?
It has to match more of hit all the boxes for me.
Okay, so it has to like have the must-haves. And so what would you say are like the top 3 must-haves for you?
Kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
open concept,
Okay.
and a basement.
Basement. Why is basement important?
Just so that way my boy has somewhere to hang out with his friends as they're getting older.
Okay. That makes sense. How old is he?
15.
15. Okay. Do you have any pets?
No.
No pets. So it doesn't matter if it's fenced or not, or is that important? No? Okay. And the size of the backyard, do you want a big enough for a volleyball net? Like you could set up and play a volleyball game, or bigger, smaller? What would,
Larger.
bigger than that? Bigger for like 4 volleyball nets?
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay, awesome. So you're just asking questions. But the first one is on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 that you're just curious, 10 that you'd buy a house today, where would you rate yourself? And then you put them at ease, make them laugh, and now you've got them. You're warming them up, you're asking good questions, and then we should meet, because those are the questions we're going to talk about when we sit down. So you don't want to give all the information to them right then and there. You want an appointment, right? You want time to be able to go back and now talk to the other buyers that are there. And, yeah, you're going to ask. Oh, you're stretching. Okay. All right. Any other questions about what we just talked about? So just scratch out that whole replenish food and drinks part. You don't have to do that. Greet when other agents are touring. Oh my gosh, these are so much fun when agents come through open houses. So just say thank you for following up, and I'd love your honest feedback. And would it be okay, for me to reach out to you later? Because you don't necessarily want to have them bad talking. You don't want them in the house very long, right? Because you've got potential buyers coming and going. So you want to get, agents through as fast as you can, and then say, would it be okay if we follow up later? I'd love to get some feedback from you, but not right now. Right? Watch for safety issues, provide feedback to the other agent. This one's big, you guys. When you're holding open houses for other listing agents, like within 30 minutes of that open house being over, like I would suggest before you even pack up, how many people came through, a couple of pros, a couple of cons, are there any potential offers that are in the works based on what people were saying? Get that information to the listing agent as soon as you possibly can, and you will then become their favorite. Nothing worse than a seller working so hard, getting so stressed, fixing, cleaning, getting the house ready, and then crickets for hours after, not sure who came through or what was going on. So as the agent holding an open house, make sure that you always let the listing agent know what's going on.
Can you say that one more time?
How many people came through? Couple of pros, a couple of cons, and any potential offers in the works. Now, if I'm talking with a buyer, I'm not going to say cons. I'm going to say, so Greg, you've been walking around the house, and so I'm going to have to give a report here before I clock out of my job. Don't say that, but I'm just letting you know. And I want to be able to give the seller a couple of pros and maybe a couple of opportunities. So what's your feedback?
The house is gorgeous.
House is
Already,
gorgeous.
I really like it. I think I'm gonna talk to my agent,
Wonderful. Who's your agent?
Jim Bob with that great office, Keller Williams in Puyallup.
Perfect. I would love to work with Jim Bob again. So I'll make sure that he knows that you were here. And if you guys have any other questions, just reach out to him and we'll be in touch. Yeah. So ask for feedback to then be able to provide it to the listing agent. Now, I'm just trying to, I haven't said this yet, have I? Don't ask if they have an agent. Have we talked about this yet? No. Okay. So here's what not to do at an open house. You never ask if they have an agent, ever. And here's the reason why. I'm going to get the information. I'm just not going to ask the question just like that. Here's how it's going to go. Hi, I'm Rebecca.
Hi, Stephanie.
Stephanie, nice to meet you. The seller asked two things. One, you remove your shoes. Two, you sign your name and that you look down. And so, yeah, take a look around. Let me know if you have any questions. So, give some time. Let her walk. Do what she's gonna do. So, have you written many offers?
No.
No. Mm-hmm. And so, how'd you hear about today's open house?
Oh, the signs. It was on Zillow.
Oh, okay, great. So what do you think about this master bedroom?
It's good. It's nice.
What about it do you like?
It's spacious.
Spacious?
Mhm.
What kind of master do you have right now?
It's really small.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you
Got a good
renting or
closet.
buying right now?
I'm renting.
You're renting? Okay. So something like this with this kind of master and the big walk-in closet would be appealing to you?
Yeah.
Great. Well, keep looking. Let me know if you have any questions. So you're just kind of come check in. Did I ask her if she had an agent? No. Has she written any offers? No. So now pretend that you have an agent and you've written a bunch of offers, because then I would say, so have you been writing many offers?
Yeah, we've written a lot.
Oh,
I know. It's tiring.
it is tiring.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your agent?
Adam Smith.
Okay, like don't ask, do you have an agent? Don't ever, like remove those words out of your vocabulary forever. Because it's just like if I was to walk into Nordstrom and what do they ask? Can I help you?
Just looking.
No, just looking. That's the script. Get them off the script. Don't ever ask the question, do you have an agent? Because they will say, yes. Ask who? Who is your agent? Because if they're like, and she's saying she's written a bunch of offers, it probably wasn't recent, right? So I'm getting the information, but I'm not asking the question. You want to get them off their script. You want to do things a little different. Have you read the book, The Purple Cow? If you haven't read this book, it's awesome. So it's just the whole concept that when you're driving by the same road, you just look at the same cows, and all the cows you don't even notice them over time because they all look the same. You want to be the purple cow. If this buyer has been walking through 3 or 4 different open houses today, do something different than all the other agents. Like, tell me your horror stories about open houses. I didn't ask that question when I started class because we would have still been on that topic. Because you walk into open houses where they were literally watching a movie, with their feet up, like we all have horror stories of open houses gone bad, right? Agreed? You want to do something different. You want to be that purple cow that just kind of sticks out. They're like, wow, of all the open houses we walked through today, did you remember that one agent that really kind of, offered us this buyer instant notification thing and and then all of a sudden, wouldn't you know, then there's a note card a couple days later. You've impressed them. That's what you want to be.
So on your sign-in sheet, do you have a note
No.
You know what I asked? Do you like pineapple on your pizza?
You like an ass?
It's on my registration. The open house I had. two people-
Bonnie, I love you.
Totally do. It starts a conversation.
It does.
And we're talking food, and I love food.
Yep.
The two people that I had at my open house, both of them wanted to buy it and were texting, calling, and emailing me, and they both had agents. They both told me I had agents, and they couldn't get a hold of their agents.
Mm.
And so I called Colleen, and she said, "Ask if they need a broker's buyer." Yep. And she said, "You can't help them."
No. No, I mean, I would just say, who's your agent? Get their agent's name. And if they've said they've got an agent, then your job as that open house host is to then steer them back to their agent and the listing agent involved. Yep.
I actually had somebody walk through my open house, and they were super delightful, and Stephanie was their agent. And we had an awesome conversation about you, and that's why I was like, hey. And I even wrote down in my little notes,
Uh-huh.
just to mention to you if I happen to see them. So, but they were just delightful, and it was very, just a really easy conversation. They get very excited about telling, at least me, if there's another KW agent involved. And it's really kind of a pride thing for us to talk, because it happens more often than.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does.
Yep, definitely. Now, in the buyer consultation class, that's a separate class, we talk about how to prepare your buyers for open houses. You give them a stack of your cards, right? They've signed the buyer's agency agreement, and you just say, this is the loyalty agreement for the next 120 days. If we're going to go out looking at houses, I'm the one that gets to write the offers, right? Here's a stack of my cards, and every time, just leave them in the car, and every time you go to open houses, just bring them in and put that down on your guest sheet, and you don't have to sign in. Just or sign in and say, here's my agent's card. Set your buyers up for success so that they know in advance. And that's a different topic, but and when that happens, then great, he's a great agent. Always say positive things, and then just let that agent know, hey, buyers just came through. I'd love to work with you on this. Let me know if they have any questions. So.
What do you do if somebody wants to you're doing an open house for someone else and they want to put an offer in on it? I don't have any paperwork or anything, so what do you do?
Well, you need time to be able to go back and prepare the offer. And so the first step is that we'll have our team's loan officer reach out to you, and we'll get a pre-approval letter put together. That's the script. The first step is we're going to have our team's loan officer reach out to you. What's the best number for him to reach you at? And then we just kind of then start going through the process, and you'll learn about that in buyer consultation, where, it's like you get pre-approved. While they're doing that, then you're going back and you're preparing your paperwork in transaction desk, and there's a class for that, right? And then you're preparing your buyer packet, because in your buyer packet you want to be able to make sure that you're not skipping any important steps to go over with them. And sometimes that works and they write the offer and that's the house they buy. Sometimes it's not, and you don't want to skip all the good that needs to happen. So you still go through like your checklist on a buyer consultation before they write the offer.
So you still do all of that when you're doing somebody else's open house, like you're doing it for your own?
So when you're holding someone else's open house and they don't have representation, absolutely you can write that offer. Yep. Okay, so page 35, during building trust and qualifying leads. So the trust mindset. Earlier in the session, we talked about the importance of putting the guests at ease and discovering who they are and their story. Consistent quality of your print materials, good conversation, attractive marketing, and well-placed signs will help you develop trust with your prospects. Check yourself with these questions. Someone read those 4 questions for me, please.
1, have you prepared and promoted your open house with consistent high quality? 2, have you internalized your script so that you can focus on your goals and still talk conversation? 3, have you written your goals and developed an action plan for the open house? 4, have you considered what your guests will be waiting for? Continue.
Thank you for doing that. It's good. So know what to do. Be consistent. Enjoy your open house guests. I like Bonnie's idea of, do you like pineapple on your pizza? Do something that is unique to you so that it is conversational. People like to work with people who genuinely care about them. They will trust you if you enjoy them. Communicate your experience and expertise. People trust competent people. People trust others who take the time to know them. People feel secure when an event is organized. And so we've talked about this already, right? Is that you connect with the kids. You ask questions. I asked Stephanie what about that master suite she liked, and where was she living now, and how did it compare to the place she was in now. I mean, those are all natural questions that would be conversational for the scenario that we're in. And then it wasn't weird for me to say, are you renting or buying right now? Because if you're in a space that you don't really like, it means you're probably wanting some sort of a change. So if a couple comes in or several family members together, find out if they live in the neighborhood. What do they like about it? Where do they work? How long is their commute time? So you're just asking questions of everyone that comes in. What are their hobbies? Do they like gardening, animals, decorating, crafting? Their answers will give you clues to what they need and want in a home. So what did I ask her about her backyard? Yeah, if she needs a fence. Does she have a pet? The volleyball. Yep. The volleyball net is just an easy way to kind of get a grasp of what people are thinking, because they say big yard, and I'm like, I don't know what a big yard is. Big yard could be 20 acres. I'm not sure. So, all right. So then it just goes over most open house visitors reach for the front doorknob with some self-consciousness. What's on the other side of this door? Who will they be talking to inside? One thing to remember is your visitors are likely more nervous than you are. Though some people meet strangers easily, many don't. They're shy, they're quiet, or simply don't know how to make small talk, even if they'd like to. They need to start and manage the conversation. The result will be that you begin to build rapport. So like I said, you are the one that's always going to be the professional and extend a handshake with a smile. Always. Otherwise, it's just weird. It's awkward. And then you ask those probing questions. What, where, why, when, who. The scripts in the scripts section provide detailed questions you may use to build rapport. So if you want to know what to ask or what those questions are, there's scripts in that extra. And then on KW Connect, you can just type in scripts, hit enter, and there is plenty for every scenario that you could possibly imagine. Tour the home. Interactions as guests experience the home. Balance your time interacting with your guests with time for them to look around. And so we kind of already talked about this. 4 other homes are on the market in this price range in the neighborhood, and the average square footage in this area is such and such. Now we've got it right on our phones. We literally just pull up Kelly and have it right there. And they're like, oh, what's that app? What are you on there, right? And our Keller Williams mobile app is about to go through a huge overhaul. And what's so exciting about that is it literally will be while we're sleeping. You'll wake up one morning and it will be bing, there's an update. And it's going to then literally be the coolest real estate app you've ever seen. We'll probably know more next week when I come back from Austin. How to interact with multiple groups. Can someone read that for me, please?
If several groups arrive at your open house at the same time, you will need to handle your guests diplomatically and carefully. Your goal is to work with the more motivated guests, those who are in the market to buy a home or sell a home very soon. Other guests may be people just checking out the open house for decorating ideas, and they could be people you work with longer term. Ask qualifying questions of your guests right away and quickly make the determination which group you will spend the most time with. As you are touring with this group, check back periodically with your other guests to build rapport.
So we talked about that. It's you being able to let them, kind of move about the house, not feel too, it's weird. I don't like it when people hover over me when I'm shopping. Like, who likes that? Give them space to kind of move around and ask questions, but you kind of look for those opportunities and then ask for business. Let's go to page 40. How to ask for their business. So, Andrew, will you read that first paragraph for me?
Toward the end of your time with your guests, be sure to ask for their business. Come right out and ask, would you like to buy the house? Yes, this question can seem somewhat startling, but that is why it works. This question lets you know what they're thinking about. If they are definitely not interested in this house, they will say so, and you can suggest several others in the neighborhood or homes on the market in other neighborhoods. The feedback may also be helpful to your seller.
Absolutely. Then the next is ask for referrals. Sometimes a neighbor is simply curious. They're not a buyer or a seller, but have always wanted to see their neighbor's house. In this case, ask them to refer you to others in the neighborhood, social friends or work colleagues. Give them your card and information packet to pass along to someone else. So this is something we were just talking about this morning, right? It's a legitimate thing. As a real estate agent, you don't feel legit until you have your business cards, right? And in the beginning, that's what you're itching to get. You want business cards to kind of feel like you've arrived. And in the book Shift, Gary Keller wrote this book, How Do Agents Survive a Shift in the Real Estate Market? And there's this passage in there where he actually shared that he purposely, on purpose, would leave his business cards away, like off of his person, in the car or at home when he went to different events. Because then when he was talking with someone, they would say, "Oh, do you have a business card on you?" And he'd go, "Oh no, let me get your information and I'll get one to you." He physically didn't have any on his person so that he had to get that person's information. And the whole point to that, and I've explained it, is I play this, it's a game. Like, I don't want to give my business card out unless I got your information first. Because I could give you my business card, but the reality is you're going to tuck it in a pocket, you're going to put it into something, and you're going to forget about me. And it's just life. You're going to get busy and you're going to forget. In this business, it's our job to follow up. And we've lost control if we just give our business cards out to everybody. We have no control. We have no idea if anyone's ever going to call us. And that business card could get shoved in a back pocket and then put through the laundry, and you just lost an amazing opportunity to build a relationship with someone. So my advice to you is don't ever give your business card out until you've put their information right into command, right there on your phone. Because if you put it there, it communicates to the cloud, it shows up in command here, and then you can add it to your phone and do everything later. Then give out your business card. Does that make sense? You want to be in control of your follow-up. All right. Jot down, thank them for coming through, walk them to the door, and there's scripts that are given as far as what to say afterwards and suggest ways of contacting them or following up on whatever. And what I would say here is you want to find things that they've said and excuses to follow up that may not even be real estate related. Like, "Oh, Nancy, you really love that one plant out back, and I don't know what it is, but I'm going to ask the seller." I want every reason in the world to have to call you. And it doesn't even have to be related to real estate at all. So a couple days later, ring, ring. "Hi, Nancy, it's Rebecca again. We met at that open house, remember? And I finally got that information on the plant in the backyard."
Awesome.
It was a hydrangea, but I'd never seen that kind before, and I didn't know, and I just wanted to verify. And so I just texted you a picture of one of the nurseries nearby where you can buy them.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely. How's your day going?
It's going awesome right now.
Good. Did you go to any other open houses after the one we met at?
Went to a couple, yeah.
Okay. Anything seem interesting to you, or?
Not as well. I like that house that you were at really well, but it's just a process.
Okay. Okay, great. Well, I'd love to meet. Let's get together and talk more about that house. I mean, is there anything that would stop you from wanting to write an offer?
I gotta make sure my husband's on board.
Okay. And so do you think we should set up an appointment for him to go walk through it? Maybe not at an open house setting, but just a private showing. Would that be good?
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Okay, great. Let's do that. I've got Wednesday at 6 or Saturday at 11.
Wednesday at 6 works great.
Perfect. I'll make appointment and I'll confirm. Thanks so much for taking my call.
Thank you.
So, I mean, it's a plant. Like, whatever it is. Oh, I love the paint color. What's the paint color of these walls? Any excuse you can think of possible to follow up with people, and then jot that down next to their name so that you can do the follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up.
Rebecca, do you, with
They're met. Yep, we met. They're in. They're invited to every client party. Like we've met. So we're friends now, unless you tell me otherwise. Yep. So they get the calendar, they get the invitation to the Christmas open house, they get they're in.
You're contacting them about once a week for 8 weeks.
8 weeks, yeah. Some sort of a Facebook friend counts as it, right? The note card counts, an email, a follow-up, definitely. To be able to then put the link on LinkedIn, like you're finding every way to be able to just pop up, in front, just keep top of mind. And if they're not buying right now, they're in. So, they're going to get real estate news updates from you, from the monthly nurtures, and you're going to follow up with these people. And then there's,
Let's say you try to get that appointment and they just make it clear, we're not going to pick an agent right now, we're just not ready to sign place. Do you just go through the process to be front of mind but kind of back off at that point as far as the...
yeah, if they're telling you we don't want to buy right now, great. So it sounds like you're probably a 4 or 5 on the scale, right? What are those factors between 5 and 10? Oh, it's financing, it's work, it's school, it's okay, great. So would it be okay if I followed up in 2 months? Yeah, and then just kind of figure out what on the pipeline, your timeline, when is it that you're going to be following up with them? Yeah, if they're pushing back, then, but get them on the scale so you can get a better understanding of where they're at. That's a good question. Okay. What to do when no one is there? We kind of talked about this already, right? During the downtime between guests, take advantage of this valuable time on the, what's it say? On the clock. Someone read that for me. This is a good one.
Set up a mobile office. Bring your laptop. Call this and stationery. When you are finished with recording recent visitors' information, you can spend time phoning friends, family, and business acquaintances to remind them to stop by at your next week's open house. Write handwritten notes to the seller and listing agent. Call Mets and ask how you can help them with any real estate need. Remind them to stop by your open house. Or, while waiting for visitors, plan your next open house and a promotional campaign to get people there.
So that's it. It's your mobile office. Set up your mobile office. And if you don't have an office here, you're a new agent, you're like, go hold an open house. Go find a good open house and hold it open until it gets an offer on it. If it's got good traffic and you're getting consistent people coming through, that's your mobile office. All right, open house scripts. Why internalize scripts? Here's what I'll say about scripts. In the beginning, you have to memorize scripts. That's step 1. 2 is internalize. That's step 2. And 3 is personalize. And it feels kind of weird and clunky in the beginning, but I've given you a couple of good ones right now that were pretty simple. We should meet. 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 We should, right? So I'm doing how do you memorize a script? Is you do what I just said. You literally say it through. Who's gone through Ignite where we do this activity? This is how you do it. Anyone been in any kind of drama class? I mean, this is how you memorize a script. We should meet. We should meet. We should meet. And then with a smile on your face, we should meet. We should meet. You just say it over and over, and you memorize, internalize, and then personalize. And then that's what happens. And so when it comes to scripts, many times people are like, oh, it is going to feel weird in the beginning. That's okay. But keep doing it, because eventually what happens is it just starts to internalize, and then all of a sudden you're in an appointment one day and you're like, wow, that sounded great. Where did that come from? It's because you took the time to do that. Memorize, internalize, and personalize. And just keep them short and sweet, short and easy, so that you don't forget them. So Nikki talks here about how she has fun with her team when she's practicing and role-playing scripts together. We call it the Get the Tiger game. We will create a situation. One person will be the buyer or seller, and the other person will be the agent. And the agent starts out with a stuffed toy tiger in his hands, having the tiger in their hands means they're in control of the conversation. The person in control is the one who asks all the questions. Questions taken from scripts. They hold the tiger in their hands until the customer, if the customer is able, takes it away from them by taking control of the conversation. Practicing scripts has helped the team see how important it is to stay on scripts and dialogues, because the agents can quickly be taken over by the customer. Once the customer takes over, the agent loses precious time for discovering customer information, customer real estate needs. The agent loses control. The customer gets the tiger. The whole point of this is ask good questions, because the one who is talking is the one who's in control of the conversation. And you want to lead them in the right direction to be able to get the information that you need. All right, so we've been talking about this already. So let's take a minute and let's do a quick role play. So I want you to stand up, find a partner, and you're going to do the welcome at the front door script, which is handshake, eye contact, smile, and it's, hi, my name is blank. The seller asks two things. One, that you remove your shoes, and two, that you sign the guest book. So go ahead and try that. All right, let's come back together. All right, we're coming back together. All right, so give me your ahas. Was it that hard? No, just keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Smile, eye contact, handshake, and then get their information so you can do your follow-up. Now on the next few pages, you're going to find basic open house scripts. You're going to want to dog-ear these pages, and you can literally start memorizing, internalizing, and then personalizing the questions that you're going to ask. So, where are you currently living? Where are you moving from? What brings you to town? Why have you decided to move at this particular time? What do you like about this neighborhood? And would you like me to provide a list of all the homes on the market in this neighborhood? I could send you a list every day at 9 a.m. The Buyer Instant Notification Program, BIN, that comes from Ignite. And it's just a fancy word for what? I just set you up in Matrix on a search, right? Every agent does this, but it's you just wording it in a way that somehow feels like there's something special about what you're offering them. And then when I described, well, to do that, we're going to sit down. That's the buyer consultation. You want to do a buyer consultation with every single buyer. Don't skip that step, because it's so critical to you understanding their motivation. And you have to sit down with every decision maker. Because if you do it with one, then it's like, oh my goodness, now I'm going to have to go do it with the other. Like, you want all the decision makers in one place. All right. Then there's touring the home on page 46 and 47. And Page 47, we're trained at Keller Williams to be real estate consultants, and that means that we will take a systematic approach to helping you find your new home. I'd be happy to sit down with you in my office to do a private consultation to help you determine your wants and needs. Our consultation will clarify what you want in a home so you can focus in the neighborhoods that meet your needs. And so then it says here, no, let's wait to get together. Okay, I have a free service that automatically emails you with properties that meet your requirements. Would you like to receive emails on properties in the specific? Okay, sure, that would be great. Great, I need to get your email address to do that, right? So, I mean, you're just having conversations. Qualifying scripts. What are you looking for? And then what is your price range? You're going to learn these when you're doing your floor calls too. People call in. You go, oh, that's a great house. Everyone's calling on it. Let me pull that up. While I've got you on the phone, in case we get disconnected, what's the best number to reach you at? And, then you pull up the information. You go, oh, this house is priced at $350. Is that your price range? Oh, no, that's way too much. That's way too much. Oh, okay, well, what is your price range? And then they let you know. And then you say, the first step is we're going to have our team's loan officer reach out to you. They're going to ask you a few questions. We'll get a pre-approval, and then we'll find out what your budget is, and we'll set up a personalized search. All right. So qualify an attendee as a potential listing on page 49. So, hi, I'm Rebecca. Do you live in the neighborhood? They say yes. Why have you come to the open house today? We're thinking about selling our house and buying another one. The agent says, do you want to find another house in this neighborhood? Yes. Are you familiar? Right? So here's the, oh, well, where's your home? What's your address? I'd love to do a comparative market analysis for your property. And then 51, action steps to follow up. So before we do that, let's do a quick pause. And in your Kelly app or from any browser, if you just type in kwueval.com, kwueval.com, that's where we're going to head. So kwueval.com. kwueval.com. The event type that we're in right now today is what they call the Market Center. So you're going to select Market Center and click Next. And then the course name is going to be under L for Lead Generation 36123. So L for Lead Generation 36123. And then the names of the instructors are by last name, instructor name, Rebecca Del Pozo, and then you're going to rate the presentation and note if you've learned anything today at all and if it's going to help you grow your business. And then we will do our follow-up and wrap up here shortly. All right. Do you need more time or are we good? Okay, so follow-up is going to be easy if you're using your app. And Kelly, you have the app pulled up, and so let's go through and add a contact in Command real quick. So you're going to log in to your Kelly app. So let's pull up Kelly. And at the very bottom of Kelly, you're going to see the home, command, connect, consumer, and more. So home, command, connect. So you're going to type in or click on select command. And then in command, you're going to type the very first option up above which says contacts. And then on the far right hand side, it says add new. And then here is where you're going to add somebody's full name. So let's just go through this and let's put in Minnie Mouse. Don't have to do spaces, don't have to worry about it. Just type in first and last name into that Minnie Mouse. And then let's add a phone number, type mobile work. And then you can just make up a fake number. You can add in social media, relationships, notes at the very bottom. When you're done, you've got a name, a last name, a phone number. You're going to hit save at the upper right-hand corner. So a name and a phone number, and then hit save. That's all you need at that point. Obviously, we want to get more information if possible, but just for the sake of us practicing right now, just go to the upper right-hand corner and hit save. And now that person has been added into your contacts. Now, the reason that you want to get an address whenever possible is because when you log into Command, with an address, the artificial intelligence within the Keller Cloud has gone to work on your behalf right now. So in that scenario, at an open house, you could add someone's name, phone number, and get their mailing address. And by the time you get back and log in, and you go into the contacts, and then you go and find that contact, because everything that you do on your phone is going to show up here in Command. Once you find that contact, the artificial intelligence of Kelly has gone in and actually, based on the address that you input, it's created this. It's created a neighborhood landing page based on that address. So all you have to do is just click in and preview it and see if it's correct based on where it's been set up. And if you want to go in and add certain neighborhoods, you can. And it's interactive, so they can actually go in and add extra neighborhoods to it. You're not the one that's in control of this, because ultimately what's going to happen is this is going to be the one-stop shop for them. It's going to be all about you and your real estate, but eventually very similar to Amazon or Netflix. Because you searched farmers markets, all of a sudden there's going to be suggestions for farmers markets nearby. Or because you clicked on, this restaurant, now all the Italian restaurants that are rated or ranked as best in the area, it's going to show up with that kind of information on this one-to-one experience for each and every one of the customers that you've put in here with an address. And you can go in and add neighborhoods. So like when you're in Command, you can go in here and just type in add, find on map, and then what it does is, which is so cool, because a zip code does not do this, right? A zip code is so vague. Look at these tiny, tiny little neighborhoods. I can select this one. I could select this one, but not select that tiny little one right there. I could select this, but not the stadium slope. So it's very specific, very different than a zip code or North Tacoma.
But how do you get it to where they get something from this, like updates? I was trying to figure it out the other day when I was playing with it, adding somebody in, and I didn't know what I was doing.
So what you do is you copy this link right here on the left, copy the link, and then you email it to them, right? And when they click into it, it's actually going to show you when they clicked in the last time and what they did. And if, like, see over here under activity right now, I can see if they've favorited any listings. I can see that they, viewed the market snapshot landing page on this time. I can see that I sent her an email. I can read that email, and so everything syncs to your email, so it's going to start logging all this activity, right?
So is there any way to automate it where they get like a quarterly? Is
Yep.
what I was trying to do.
The nurturing of the neighborhood landing page is then, let me look.
If you just click on the smart plans at the top there,
The monthly neighborhood nurture.
and there's a little green plus where you can add to smart plan if they're not on it yet.
Yep. So right here, if you click add, then you can search which smart plans you want to add them to, and then they get added to it. So here's the 8x8. So if I just said I want to add her to the 8x8 plan, now it's going to prompt me and say, hey, it's time to do one of these things. Or the monthly neighborhood nurture is the one that we're talking about. And so that's that person has already been added to it. So
Rebecca, have you used the task feature much?
I've messed with it a little.
I love it. That's how I do my 8x8. So when I meet them and I put them in, I just create my own personalized 8x8.
Mhm.
I just lay it out, a task for each week.
Mhm.
And it just tells me on whatever day, okay, do this, do that. It just tracks it all for me.
Yep.
It's super helpful.
Yep, absolutely. I'm past due right here. Can you see that? It says I'm past due. I can snooze it or I can archive it. And you can click in and then it says exactly what it is. So if I want to go in and change the due date, I could go in and do that. So yeah, so you can set it up to send them an automatic monthly nurture with an update of that landing page. Any questions on that?
I have one question. What's the difference, because yesterday we learned about the app part where we could send people a link so they could open us up in the Keller Williams app and it has our name on it.
Uh-huh.
So is it better to give them that one or this one or?
So the app that's in your KW app right now,
Yeah.
when it goes through its update, it's all going to communicate.
Okay.
Right now, it's still separate because we're under contract with the person, like the company that has created the app that is on there right now. But eventually, everything is going to be a part of the cloud. So they're two separate things right now. Yeah, good question. Okay. All right. So let's go back to our book real quick, and then we're going to be the number one market agent mindset. So look at page 53, smack dab in the middle of page 53, circle, keep doing open houses until you've mastered open houses. Systematize the process to maximize your time and profit. Make your open houses events worth doing and worth attending. The secret is to make open houses worth doing. Before you hold your open house, prospect the neighborhood so you become the only real estate agent that comes to mind when a neighbor decides to list or buy or list a home. Put out signs to advertise your name and brand, and then during, contribute to the needs of your guests by setting up appointments to deliver information to them. After the open house, enter your new Mets into the database and systematically contact them. All right. So tell me just a few ahas real quick, and then we'll get out of here. Yeah.
I love the purposeful dialogue to go for the win to get an appointment, and using the home buyer readiness scale as kind of a launching pad for that conversation. That helped me.
The 1 to
visualize.
10?
Yeah, and then I wrote down some follow-up questions that just naturally get there that will help me go.
That's great. Thanks, that's good. What else? What's something new you learned today that you're going to apply?
The business card thing, I never thought, I always thought, oh my gosh, Pepper, everywhere you go with your business cards, instead, get the information.
Yeah.
That was like a
Nice. Thanks, Bonnie.
Well, and it would give you, it would give you a reason to say, well, let me get your address, I can mail you out one of my business cards, because I don't have one, oh my gosh, I just left one at home today.
Right.
They're in my car, but I don't need to tell you that. I just don't have any on me right now. Like I'm wearing pants right now, I don't have pockets. Sorry. Yep, absolutely. What else?
How about the part about you written notes to the seller and the agent?
Mm-hmm.
And even,
Thank them for the opportunity. Absolutely. Yeah.
Asking them about what they thought of the house.
Ask them what they thought about the house. Yeah, you're asking questions to engage them. Yep, definitely. Good. So now turn to page 56, 57. Here's your open house action plan. So putting together the number of invitations, the number of guests, buyers, sellers, agents, neighbors, appointments, calls off your signs, hours of prep, hours doing, hours follow-up, and costs. So you put together this plan. And then the lead generation action planning worksheet on page 57 is current as of today. Are you having this business conversation with yourself? Are you treating your business like a business? Do you know your numbers? So what have you made so far this year? You have two choices, right? Increase activities or adjust your goal. That's really it. And we've talked about how you can increase your activities with open houses on purpose. Your annual transactions that have closed, what have you closed so far? What's your goal? And what are you going to do to close this gap? So this sheet right here is it's a quick, easy way for you to just identify, where am I actually at? What's my goal? What's my gap? And then how am I going to put together actual activities around changing that for the better? Power of One, page 58. Time block 3 hours every workday before noon. Open houses will need to be blocked for weekends too. No skipping. If you must erase, then you must replace. Do not allow for interruptions. And so this is just being specific. So time block for your open house activities. Successful agents on average hold 2 to 3 a week. When you're in the launch phase, meaning that you've been in business less than 3 years, 2 to 3 every single week. Any day of the week is great. That's what you're going to do to be able to do your job. And your job is to do your 10-4. New, connect, note cards, and houses. Homes previewed a week, right? This is your job as a real estate agent. And so you time block for the activities in your calendar. And during that chunk of time, it's not all on the phone the whole time. It could be texting, it could be note cards, right? It's active lead generation activity that will then lead to 36 closed transactions. Why is it 36? It's because that's who they surveyed. They went and surveyed agents and went through and said, if you do this many, how many do you, like the number is random, right? It's not. It's just like profit share. Why do they say you should have 15 in your first level for profit share? Because statistics show that the people who had 15 people in their first level plus 5 years earned $50,000 of passive income. So if you want more, then just double that.
Does that mean 5 years after you have 15 in?
Yeah.
It starts turning into that?
Yep. Why is it 8 by 8?
Because that's how long it took.
He-
Neighborhood.
Yeah,
Agent.
they created this fictitious agent and went and surveyed the neighborhood and said, do you have a real estate agent in this neighborhood? And they're like, oh yeah, so-and-so. There was no one so then they grabbed some guy's picture, gave him a fake name, and then just started doing all the activities that we talk about. And then they surveyed them at 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks. And what they found is that 8 weeks was the sweet spot. They went back and surveyed all the same people. It said, is there a neighborhood real estate expert who lives here or in the area? Oh yeah, it's this guy. He didn't exist. So that's where the 8 by 8 came from. All the numbers that Gary Keller uses in all of his books is because he's paid thousands upon thousands of dollars for people to go and survey and research to get the information, right? And so there's a reason for the numbers that we talk about. All right, page 58 talks about your 3-hour habit. And so it's you calling people, meeting people, preparing marketing materials, networking, hosting open houses, prepare seminars, and it means that whichever of these activities you decide to do, you're going to focus your efforts on, you're going to do them, you're really to get really good at them over time. And so you want to be purposeful. And on page 59, it talks about open house activities and how to be purposeful as far as, oh, look, it said 10 minutes. It said 10 minutes to choose the house to hold open. You can slash that and put less than 2, because Rebecca showed you it can be done in less than 2 minutes. And then there's a sample calendar. So let's see. Have we talked about how to get information from clients? Yep. Have we talked about a follow-up system to be purposeful? Yes. Have we talked about no time suck, get more leads?
Yeah.
Have we talked about new strategies?
Yes.
All right. Have we talked about how to get started?
Yes.
Okay. Have we talked about how to spice it up and make it feel like an event? Yeah. Don't hate open houses. Don't hate open houses, Jody. And your job as a real estate agent is to lead generate. Your job is to follow a schedule. It's not about selling houses. It's about following a schedule. And in that schedule, you're doing purposeful activities that then lead to opportunities that then you can follow up. And then that's 36-12-3 open house session. Next session, so next month, stay tuned for sale by owners and expired listings. And in the meantime, if you guys need anything at all, just let me know. Thanks for being with me.